and brings.
This is Joan London. Now it's Good Morning Houston with Don Nelson and Jan Glenn, and more of what's important to you in Texas.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Don Nelson. Coming up next on Good Morning Houston, we'll go live from LaMarque High School, where in less than an hour, the District 5A championship-bound Cougars will hold their pep rally. Join us next on Good Morning Houston.
Good morning, Houston. It's time to find out what's happening in our Houston area. Don Nelson and Jan Glenn have news and information important to you and your family. Doug Brown's weather will help you plan your day. Now, Good Morning Houston.
Good morning, everyone. This is Don Nelson. Jan Glenn has the day off. We get into the holiday schedules. Doug Brown will be joining us in just a moment. I am live at LaMarque High School Auditorium. The Cougars will have their pep rally at 10 o'clock. We'll be meeting some of the players, the school principal, and some of the students about the pep rally and its significant meaning, especially this year. The Cougars, the LaMarque Cougars, will be trying to win the District 5A state championship this Saturday against Plano. That game will take place Saturday, Kyle Field and College Station. That is the news that concerns the football game. The tragic news is that it'll be following the loss of their head coach, Hugh Massey, who has taken the team to a 9-1 regular season victory, getting them that far before he was killed in a traffic accident 2 weeks ago. So there's a mixture of good and bad in this overall picture of champion football. Well, LaMarque High School is gearing up for that game against Plano, and it'll decide whether or not they win that championship. And as Deborah Wrigley reports, Saturday's game will be bittersweet.
It's a season of legend these days in LaMarque, a season when school flags and school colors of blue and gold highlight streets instead of Christmas decorations. And there's the sign that says much about Saturday's game, the memory of Hugh Massey, the coach who built LaMarque's team. It has all the elements of a Walt Disney movie, that kind of triumph over adversity tale which cannot help but inspire. Yet this is more than a story about a coach and his football team. It is a story of an entire school. Today, the school commons is a place of boisterous teenagers with pregame emotions running high and game tickets running out. Over the past 2 weeks, many of the tears have run out too as mourning nears an end. But for these youngsters, the coach they loved in life is still very much with them.
Yes, definitely. I picture him all the time around the commons with his coffee mug and smiling and greeting everyone in the morning. And I could see him, like the game after it happened, I could see him in the Astrodome still coaching. And the players still see him on the sidelines. I know they do.
And there is something more that students have learned, something else they say their coach taught them to make them grow even in his absence.
To live every day like there's no tomorrow. You know, just take your friends, say hi, hug them, shake hands, you know, speak to everyone, you know, just don't take day for granted.
It should also be noted there's some anticipation at a nearby elementary school with good reason. It is a school attended by 6th grader G.P. Massey, the image of his father. And for this 13-year-old who's had to grow up fast, his loss has been softened somewhat by LaMarque's success.
Just more happy because this is what my dad would want. He always wanted to go to the state championship. This is the farthest he's ever been, and he had a 7-year plan. He thought we could go to state championship for 7 years, and that's when I'd graduate. But now I just hope we win the state championship and have good years after this.
GP plans to play ball someday, but that's a distant goal. This weekend, he, his family, and the students will be at Kyle Field with most of the town's residents. The finale to a season when LaMarque went all the way, but lost something in the process. Deborah Wrigley, Eyewitness News, LaMarque.
Well, there you have the story, and as we get ready for this pep rally, you can see signs all throughout the auditorium. The Cougars are pumped up. Emotions obviously running high. The Blue Devils, that's the offense known as the Oink Oink, the War Pigs. They'll be showing up a little bit later on. It, on the surface, looks like a pep rally for a championship game. But as we mentioned beneath it, obviously the other meaning, the loss of the coach. Dennis Kidwell is joining us. He is the band director, both of Hugh Massey's sons are in band in 6th and 8th grade. And Dennis is also with the class of 73, a LaMarque graduate. And good morning, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
The feeling about this whole thing obviously is the emotions. We've heard the story. The coach was well liked. Let's go back a little bit. Let's put everything in perspective about LaMarque as a town and a school. You were in the class of 73. What was it like then?
Well, a lot like it is now. The community has always been quiet and fairly family-oriented and a peaceful place to live.
And everybody went to the football games?
Everybody went to the football games.
What about the previous teams prior to this one?
Well, the early teams at the school in 71, 2, and 3 when I was a student here were all very successful teams. And it's just been a big tradition here.
And the tradition hopefully will be carried on this coming Saturday. Now, you're the band director, and you'll be much a part of this event, I understand. Tell us about Coach Hugh Massey. You obviously knew him and saw him every day.
Well, I didn't know Hugh really well, but he was a very positive person. He was always in the hall. His presence was an important part of the school. He was a very positive person. It just rubbed off on everybody. He was always smiling, very cheerful. It was really uplifting to see him in the hallways.
I understand also he was very involved in the community.
Yes, he was. And he had many, many friends and had a great impact on a lot of people.
You were telling me earlier that he had always found time for other students. He was even influential in helping students who were in trouble.
That's right. And students found Coach Massey, I think, really easy to talk to and someone that they could look to for help.
What about his two sons now? They're in band. You went to a concert the other night?
Right. There was a concert Tuesday night at the junior high, and his son Richard plays trombone in the junior high band, and he had always been very supportive of his student children and as being students in band, and usually came to the concerts and PTA programs. And
from what is this family drawing its strength getting through this?
Well, I know Hugh and his family were very strong Christian people and are very strong Christian people and have drawn on their faith for their strength, and I think that's been a big witness to the community and to the student body.
It's a rough lesson to learn under the circumstances with the loss of a very popular person, but what do you think the students got out of this? I mean, the reflections, we've heard some comments about living every day, day at a time, as was the philosophy of the coach, but as a teacher, as a person that's here all the time, having gone through this now for 2 weeks, what does each individual student, I mean, how do they think they came out of this?
Well, I think anytime there's tragedy, it draws people together, but particularly in this case, there have been no signs of factions or little groups or cliques in the school. The student body is really drawn together with the community and fighting for a purpose and for a cause, and I think it's been a really positive impact on the community to see that happen.
Now, I guess the big question is, can the team do it, in your own opinion?
Of course they can, and they will.
No question about it?
No doubt.
We're looking at the District 5A champions here.
That's right.
All right, well, listen, thanks so much, Dennis. Dennis Kidwell. And by the way, you have a fine band, I understand.
No, thank you.
Hopefully we'll get an opportunity to hear them a little bit later on. As we mentioned, we're pre-pep rally, in case you're wondering why it is a little bit quiet here. The students will, in fact, not be in here till 10 o'clock. However, I do see some of the team members filing in here now. We'll take a break and be back a little bit later on in the program with more from LaMarque High School's Cougar Pep Rally. Coming up next, another lesson in the week. Actually, we're getting very close to Share Your Christmas, and we're going to meet another family and also a guest that will participate in tomorrow's Channel 13 Share Your Christmas. Stay with us. Well, tomorrow's the big day. It's the 6th annual Channel 13 Share Your Christmas. That'll be your opportunity to bring food, non-perishable food items, canned goods, to Channel 13 and many other locations through our viewing area. We'll give you those locations where we'll be receiving food a little bit later on in the program, and that'll be taking place from 7 a.m. in the morning until 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Before we give you the locations and tell you more about the actual Share Your Christmas, let's meet another family who will be benefiting from your contributions. Thanks so much, Doug. We're here at LaMarque for a reason. The LaMarque Cougars will go to College Station, Kyle Field, Saturday to play a District 5A championship ball game against Plano. And we're going to meet the players, of course. For those of you just joining and perhaps not familiar with the story at all, the coach, Hugh Massey, was killed in a car accident 2 weeks ago. Before getting a chance to see this team, the team he had worked with all year long, go to this championship game. In fact, he didn't even get a chance to see them play in the semifinals, MacArthur and the Austin team. We're going to talk to the players a little bit. Let's meet the entire team. I think I'd like to see all the team members get a chance to give their name and position before we get a chance to talk to some of them. The offensive line, the starting line, are called the War Pigs. They are the largest line in the state. This is high school football, and we'll meet them right now and talk to some of the players. Let's just run through quick. Your name and position.
Mark Ellard, offensive line.
George Molina, right tackle.
John Bill, right guard.
Vince Werner, center.
Stephen Ellis, left guard.
Bill Berkey, right guard.
Randall Hallward, offensive tackle.
Stop. How much do you weigh?
About 305.
Who are the other two starters aren't here, and what do they weigh?
Butch Anderson, he plays center, and he's about 275. And Leroy Truitt, he plays offensive tackle, and he's about 275 also.
Okay, all right. Name, sir?
Big Joe.
Big Joe. How much do you weigh, Joe?
342.
342, high school football offensive line. Thanks for being here this morning. Anything you need, Big Joe, just let us know.
Carl Price, running back.
Okay.
Clarence Bradley, running back.
Derek Callens, running back.
Chip Fields, quarterback.
Mike Houston, inside receiver.
Joe Barb, outside receiver.
Robert Armstrong, outside receiver.
General Jackson, outside receiver.
Craig Jenkins, inside receiver.
Jack Allen, wide receiver. Ryan Johnson, wide receiver.
Fred Harris, wide receiver.
James Cunningham, inside receiver.
Kevin Walker, inside receiver.
Lauren Verdon, nose guard. These are the Blue Devils, defensive unit.
Oldest defensive tackle.
David Stevens, outside linebacker. Lewis Jones, outside linebacker.
Kervin Block, cornerback.
Mike Evans, linebacker.
James Walker, defensive back.
Trey Davis, defensive tackle.
Patrick Francis, outside linebacker.
George Lillard, inside linebacker.
Curtis Juba, strong safety.
Senior captain Raymond, nose guard.
Senior captain Kevin Garber, strong safety.
Senior captain Willie Alexander, defensive tackle.
Senior outside linebacker Tim Harris.
Senior inside linebacker Earl Booby Newton.
Senior cornerback Johnny Ray.
Ron Ivey, outside linebacker. Peter Landry, inside linebacker. Troy Tate, defensive tackle.
Alex Hogue, strong safety.
Eric Glover, defensive back.
Kirk Collins, free safety.
George Fowles, trainer.
Jason Robertson, trainer.
Mike Little, quarterback.
Mike, thanks for being with us this morning. There you have, that's the Cougars, and talk about a rather large group of talent to draw from. It's no wonder you've gotten this far to go to the state championships. Mike, how you feel about this game Saturday?
We'll be ready for it. We've been talking about it since we were in junior high and everything, and I don't think they have to do too much to us to get us pumped up for this game. We'll be ready.
Tell us about the coach, some of the things he told you as far as the game goes, as far as I know a lot of coaches talk about playing not only with your muscles, but talk about from the heart and from the mind as well. What was his philosophy?
Coach Massey always told us to be mentally prepared, and if we weren't, we'd go out and somebody would hit us in the mouth and we wouldn't be ready for it, and we knew we wasn't prepared if we did. And he told us that we could always listen to music and stuff for the game, but
I believe we're seeing that first play of the MacArthur game. This was after you had learned that the coach had been killed in an accident. Can you remember back that morning before the game?
Yes, sir. We were up in the dressing room, and then we were all sitting around. And we came to the dome and got dressed. And we were sitting there talking about it. We've been talking about it all week. And we decided that was still going to be the first play, even though Coach Massey wasn't there.
Now, for people not familiar with him, he had worked with the Gamblers somewhat with game films and whatnot, and wasn't that kind of the style that he sort of patterned your team after?
Yes, sir. Every film that we watched and got taught by was mostly from the Gamblers or something from years past of the Cougars, and he ran everything by what they did.
All right, now you also played Austin Reagan, and that was another thing from which everyone who saw the game knew that the spirit that he had left in all of you to play to the bitter end really came through, because you were actually behind, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that game.
Well, at first half, we had a long talk about everything we were doing. Most of the time we were making up stuff in the first half. We weren't doing everything we were supposed to be. I guess it was just from nerves or something, but we talked about it first half, and we got everything straight at second half and came out and did everything right.
This game tomorrow, although everyone wants to win and wants to be a champion, for the entire town itself, which you live in, it has a special meaning as well. I mean, are all the players aware of that?
Oh, yes, sir. Nobody from our town's ever been this far, and they're supporting us real well, and we appreciate it.
Now, what's it like standing behind. Let's get away from this for a second and talk about the game itself, because we are going to get ready to go into pep rally, and I want to kind of bring this up a little bit now that we know why we're playing the game the way we're going to play it. But what's it like as a quarterback to stand behind about 2.5 tons of flesh, mean flesh? Does that give you a little extra confidence?
Yes, sir. It feels pretty good. I feel like I'm pretty secure back there, like I'm not going to be hit.
I mean, you could stand behind Big Joe and forget, I mean, that would be pretty secure right there.
Yes, sir.
Well, also, the Blue Devils, the defense, they're pretty, they look pretty rugged, too.
Oh, yeah. They've come a long ways in the playoffs, and we're real proud of them.
All right, well, listen, there you have it. Mike Little, the starting quarterback for the Cougars. And as we said, this is not only the largest team in the state, but it's one of the finest playing football teams. And they'll be going to, as we mentioned, to Plano to capture that District 5 championship game. We'll take a break, come back with more from LaMarque. We'd like to talk with the principal, Dr. Thomas Norris, right after this, so stay with us. We're back now at LaMarque High School, joined now by Dr. Tom Norris, who's the principal of LaMarque High School, and obviously this pep rally means a lot to the entire school as well as the community. Dr. Norris, because you work with students and your whole occupation has to do with attitude and molding of minds and getting people going in the right direction so that they will in fact be a contribution to future societies. We all think about what impact we have as an individual on a large group of people. How do you feel about the way this coach had an impact on this school system?
Well, I think he was a very visible person. He was very important to our players, but not only that, he was important to this entire school. The students were used to seeing him out there in the mornings before school. He always had his coffee mug, and he was going around talking to kids, smiling. He had a $1 million smile. I think everybody would agree with that. And always was talking to people. And he had a major impact on this whole community and our student body. They felt like they knew him personally.
He also, from what I understand, he even had the opportunity to do some counseling at times. Kids who had some serious problems felt they could confide in him.
Right. He was always available, and that was one thing I think it's been real hard for everybody is we were used to having him here. Students were used to being able to go and talk with him if they had a problem. Also, he was very active in the community. He was active in his church, and people really knew him in the area.
So by the way, the type of life he lived, then a teacher really teaches by example, not just by what's in the book.
Exactly. That's correct. And I think that's important to realize that, you know, you can have all the book knowledge you want, but it takes that personality and the ability to really care for people. And Hugh was really a caring man, and he really loved these kids.
You have a student body of 1,500 students. It's hard to estimate what impact it had on each individual student, but at a time when the holidays are around and we're trying to figure out what it is we want to give or receive or whatever, I felt coming down here that it's a reminder in some respects that the greatest gift we have to give is each other.
That's right. I think it's important for us, especially in the holiday season, to realize that the material gifts really aren't that important. It's, you know, what we do one-on-one with our fellow man.
As far as getting pumped up for a game, this team has got to be at a level that no other team could even conceivably reach. Tragically so, unfortunately losing the coach, but as far as the psyche goes, the mental attitude, it can't get any higher than it is.
No, I think that we're ready. And I fully think that we're going to go out and we're going to beat Plano. And
is this the first time?
This will be the first time LaMarque's been in the state championship, and we're going all the way.
Listen, it's a pleasure having you here this morning. We're going to take a break, and we're going to do some other things on our program this morning, but we're going to come back a little bit later on. I want to talk to some of the seniors, I think, because you have to deliver a speech, I'm sure, and everyone else is going to have speeches to leave. Well, let's get yours now. What message do you send this class of 86?
Well, primarily it's class of 87.
87.
Okay. The message I would like to send to the class of 87 is that, you know, it's all right to have a time of grief, and it's important that you let out your emotions and you do cry. I think that our men have realized, you know, it's all right as a man to cry, but you have to move on. And we got to set goals, and we've got to attain those goals. And right now our goal is the state championship, and that's attainable.
All right, thanks so much, Dr. Tom Norris, our principal here at LaMarque High School. As I mentioned, later on in the program, we'll talk to some of the seniors who will be leaving, talk about some of their plans for the future. But right now it's time for a little money call, and let's go back with Doug. Doug?
Okay, Don, we're going to skip that money call today because things are moving a little fast here, but we will be involved in talking to you.
Well, we're beginning to see the student body here at LaMarque High pour into the auditorium. We're getting ready for the Cougar Pep Rally. If you're just joining us, they will go on to try to capture the District 5A championship against Plano this Saturday. We were part of that pep rally this morning. We're going to check in with the news right now. Bob Boudreau, and I know for sure, Bob, without having a chance to talk with you, that the airplane crash has got to be part of today's news.
Absolutely, Don. In fact, let's find out how the pep rally is going in LaMarque with Mr. Nelson. Don?
Thank you very much, Bob. Well, if you ever wanted to know what teachers know, that is what 1,500 students sound like getting ready for a pep rally. All I have to do is hold the microphone up in the air, and you can hear the noise getting ready. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, Doug Brown has another look at the weather. We have a story concerning the other Nutcracker suite, not the one Ken Fowler had, and also a final comment or two from the LaMarque Cougar graduating senior class right after this. Stay with us, Doug, and we're going to talk in just a second to some of the players before we end our program. But first of all, with the Christmas season well underway, the Nutcracker Prince will dance again tonight in Jones Hall as the Houston Ballet opens its traditional holiday performances. Those who attend over the next couple of weeks will find this old favorite as fresh as ever.
The Nutcracker at Jones Hall through December 20th.
What can I say, friends? We're coming out of the Nutcracker Suite to a school that is so emotionally pumped up for a game that not only means winning a football championship, but it means a gift to their coach, a coach who has given up most of his life to teaching young people the values of life, only to have his end prematurely. Coach Hugh Massey will always be remembered in high school, not only for his ability on the football field, but for his ability to convey how to be a human being and how to be a friend to someone. We're looking now. It's almost impossible to talk to anybody right now, but let's try. We've got some of the graduating seniors and class of '87. When you leave here, what are you going to do? What are you going to leave here with, and what are you going to do with your life from now?
Well, I plan on becoming a coach. Going to college, I want to go to a major university. I want to coach high school football because best football in the world.
You got a lot of kids going to college, don't you, out of this class?
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't tell you. I'd say about 18, 19 of us going to school.
Okay. What are you going to be doing? Huh? What are you going to be doing in class of '87 when you graduate? What are your plans?
Well, I don't know yet. All I know, we're going to win state. We hurting everybody. We hurting everybody.
All right. There you have it. I'll tell you what, folks, let's just end right here. I think it speaks for itself. Everyone watching this program will give you an opportunity now to be a part of the LaMarque Cougar pep rally for a couple of minutes. And let's hope they bring back the state championship. I think as far as they're concerned and everyone watching, there's no doubt about it. We'll see you tomorrow.
On what's coming up. There's plenty of pre-game spirit in LaMarque. Forget the pre-game jitters. LaMarque High School is on its way to the state 5A championship game this Saturday in College Station. And in the mind of that community, the school is already a champion. Deborah Wrigley attended today's pep rally that sent the team on its way.
It was not a place for those with sensitive hearing. For almost an hour, the high school auditorium reverberated with the sound of drums, screams, a pregame tradition that has special meaning this season. It is the first time the Cougars have ever reached the 5A finals, the pinnacle of Texas high school football success. It is also the first time the school faced tragedy, the death of its coach 2 weeks ago. Those thoughts were combined in the players' pep rally prayer.
Dear God, we want you to send, especially Coach Massey, and tell him we're going to have that gold football waiting for him. We're going to bring it.
Trophy or not, one person here already received something very substantial from the crowd and the enthusiasm.
A lot of people like my dad. Like I didn't realize that. And he has a stronger influence than most people do.
Even now?
Yeah, even now. A lot more now.
The Massey family will be at Saturday's game with most of the town. The last game they say to be played for a man whose presence at least lingers in the spirit here. Deborah Wrigley, Eyewitness News, LaMarque.
School spirit down in LaMarque. Be nice to get some.
Tomorrow morning, the LaMarque football team leaves for College Station, and this weekend's state championship game, of course, 11 Sports will be up there. The team has been playing the last 2 weeks without the coach who got them to the playoffs. Hugh Massey died in a traffic accident December 4th. Sam Saucedo tells us LaMarque is getting ready.
The cheering was loud and continuous as 1,500 students packed into the LaMarque Auditorium for the final pregame pep rally. LaMarque is playing for state without Hugh Massey, their head coach who died in a car accident December 4th. The team dedicated these games to him. Their first play from scrimmage after his death went for a touchdown, and the LaMarque Cougars have hardly been stopped since. The pep rally this morning was a frenzy.
This is just what my husband wanted, the state championship and a team that could play in it, and I'm happy for him just like everybody else.
I think if we keep our spirit up like this, we could win one. If for my father or whoever you'd like to win it for.
The entire school district is behind the Cougars. Cheerleaders from rival high schools also helped. They came to keep spirits high. The playoffs without Coach Massey have been tough.
We want you to send special note to Coach Massey and tell him we're going to have that gold football waiting for him. We're going to bring it to him.
Coach Massey will lead them in spirit. Coach Nowotny will lead them on the field.
I can feel it.
If team spirit has anything to do with it, the Plano Wildcats won't have a chance on Saturday. Sam Sassetto, 11 News, LaMarque.